Okay, everybody. We have a new guitar to review tonight. We did a lot of changes, guys. So I'm going to try something completely new tonight. Right now I'm fiddling with my microphone because it was in the way of the monitor. Um, Originally, this channel was started doing guitar reviews, and we've kind of strayed away from that. Really, well, I won't say we've strayed away from it. We've added a lot of extra content that we didn't used to do. So I really want to concentrate back on what the channel was originally started to do, and that was to review guitars, whether that was budget guitars or mid-price guitars or high-end guitars. Everyone works really, really hard for their money, and I think this channel is here. So if you're interested in a budget guitar or a mid-price guitar, you can come here and watch these reviews and really get an honest evaluation of the product. So I'm going to slide this out of the way, and I want to show you tonight's guitar. And yes, it changes colors. So there it's purple, then it goes kind of blue, and then purple and blue. It's quite sharp. Roasted maple neck. And something we are doing completely different. I am going to play this guitar right out of the gate. So if you can't tell, before we get into the review, the action height's a little high, and the string radius, it feels a little strange. But everyone says, well, you do too detailed a review. I just want to hear the guitar. So for those that just want the quick bang, there you go. There's some tones and high gain. I don't think you're buying this guitar to play country on it. It does have a clone Floyd Rose, and let's face it, it was built to be a shredder. So that kind of gives you some ideas. And you can hear it's just a little out. I will say this. You can see there's our tune. It's not quite in tune, but pay attention to the revolution, and we're going to dive bomb. I'm touching the body. And there's the issue. So if you really jerk it, it pops. And it did that for me once before. And it's not going to come back. It's at C now versus E. And we went to A sharp on the A and D. So there's the D, there's the A string, G went sharp, and the B went sharp, and the E went sharp. And the low E just, I don't really know what took place on the low E. So that's out of the box. We haven't done anything to it. If you're not abusive on it like I was last night, it does return somewhat close to zero. So this guitar retails on Amazon for $2.99. At $2.99, we're going to say, okay. All right. Well, you guys know the channel. We are now going to look at this guitar. And I want to do live reviews for one reason. I can't hide anything. If you watch, well, there's the common channels that praise Leo James. There's a lot of editing involved. Right there's probably why. With that being said, we want to get to this review. And what do you think? Manufacturer specifications. That's something I didn't quite do. So I want to go to Amazon. And with a lot of these budget guitars, guys, they don't list too much. It's kind of sad. I'm going to look at my orders. There it is. All right. I'm going to go to OBS. We're going to go to display screen. So here is the listing on Amazon. And hey, look at this. I should send mine back. I paid $2.99 for mine. It is on sale right now for $2.69. You can get black. And then they have this pearl white. Okay. So they're saying it's a rosewood fingerboard paired with 24 frets, offering smooth feel and excellent note articulation. Premium tone wood construction. Okay, we're going to go down the tone wood rabbit hole. Well, they're saying they are using tone wood, so okay. Rich's low-end warmth and sustained residence. Roasted maple neck provides exceptional stability and bright sustain. Okay. Versatile sound system features an HH pickup setup. So basically the single coil by the neck is basically like a Seymour. It's a dual hot rail. It does have a push-pull on the tone. They're claiming 18-to-1 tuning machines, double locking tremolo, timeless modern. I agree with that. It is a modern shape. Pro grade specifications, standard 648, 25.5 scale length, 42-inch nut, nut profile. It's supposedly 20.5 at the first fret and 22.5 at the 12th. We'll double check all that. And it comes from them with 09 to 42 gauge strings. And that's pretty much all they tell us. Now here they're showing a silver, a white, the color we purchased, which flip-flops, and the black. They're claiming metal backplate, maple headstock, rosewood fingerboard, and here's the pickup configuration. So neck, center position, bridge position. You know, what's funny about this is you really can't tell one from the other. They're just kind of blocking it out. But there's our pickup layout for a three-way switch. And that's about all the info that they give us. So I haven't quite figured out my one window, so you guys got to kind of see it go to the strange window. I guess the first thing we should kind of go over is the fit and finish. So let me strike that one. Let's go over the fit and finish. It's going to be body, neck, and the headstock. So looking at the body itself, it's flat right through here. And there's a chamfer, almost like a rolled chamfer all the way around the body. It's quite sharp, guys. I would say this is probably one of the nicest guitars Leo James has manufactured as far as the body profile. It's quite well done. The only thing I see is right here, the chamfer goes down and it rolls in, and on the butt of the guitar, there's a flat spot. So it rolls and then goes flat. On the back of the guitar, we've got this kooky thing here, which, I don't know. Ibanez started doing that this year too. I haven't quite figured that one out. It reduces the thickness here about 3/16. I would rather see them come straight over into this horn and do a full chamfer and relieve this whole thing back in. I mean, I guess it's an inexpensive way of doing it. But looking at it, the only thing I'm going to say is this arc doesn't align with the arc of the horn. So if you look at the horn, it's doing this, and then it pivots again. And then this arc doesn't align to the arc with this horn either. So whoever wrote the CAM program, they're just swinging an arc, and they don't care if the tangent aligns or not. On Ibanez's arc, this is called it's not a true arc. It's a spring angle, and they've ran this arc, and it's consistent right into this one. So Ibanez has actually taken the time and done a spring here. If that doesn't bug you, it doesn't bug you. I'm just pointing it out, and you can see it right here. You could see this point. It's basically doing this. And then over here, it's doing this. Just pointing it out. Our electronics cover definitely feels like it's metal or some type of aluminum. And they've machined that down flush to the body. That's nice. I like that. The cavity here for the tremolo, kind of weird. They have not machined that one into the body, and it's plastic. I don't know, that one might be metal too. No, that one's metal too. So they've spent the extra time and machined this one flush, and then they cheated you here and set it up top. It's I don't know what to say about that. Very confusing. Here we've got our button. It's on the horn. It's tight. It appears to be in the center, facing the right direction. Looking at our rear button, it's a little off-centered, but it does appear to be in the center of the mount here, and it feels tight. Looking at the neck pocket in relation to the neck going in, this detail right here is very nicely done. It's thinned out. Now, whenever you do this right here, it has a higher tendency of chipping, but they've done a nice job doing it. Looking at our neck, there is a flat spot in the neck, okay? And that's the seat. And there's a good 1/4 inch all the way around. But the way it fits into the body, I'm not seeing a gap. This one right here isn't as clean as the other side, but it's not bad. Feeling in here for missteps in the machining. Got a peculiar little radius right here. That is in the CAM program. Everything else feels good. We just got a kooky right here. We got a kooky transition right there. Everything else feels good. We do have 2 forward chamfers. They feel good. As far as the paint, these paints are, these flip-flop colors, they're very hard to do. Well, they're easy to do, but it's hard to make them flip-flop evenly. And I am going to say the flip-flop on this is worth the price of admission. This is done, the spray and the finish is done very well. When I look at it and how it transitions extremely even. And it changes color where you would expect it. So what ends up happening when you do these finishes, if you spray too heavy here and it's not even, it'll get blotchy looking as it changes color. See how it's done remarkably well. And I'll reiterate that the body finish is worth the price of admission. Flip-flop colors, you don't see those on budget guitars. You don't usually see them on mid-level guitars. So if you want a flip-flop finish, this is as cheap as it's going to get, and it's done very well. Going down her neck, feeling the transition between the rosewood and the neck. I can't feel it. There is a abrupt angle change right here, but that's just the radius in the neck. Feeling the back of the neck, I can feel the wood grain, but the finish on the back of the neck is consistent. And that's what we're looking for. I don't want to feel a super smooth spot and then a kind of rough spot and then smooth. It feels consistent. Back of the neck and through here on the headstock. It's very consistent. Looking at the finish on the headstock itself and how it morphs and changes, again, it's done rather well. The finish and paint on the guitar is done very well. It's nice. And this is called a Tasumi series.
Tsunami.
Tsunami. Excuse me. I do not speak a Japanese. Okay, that's going to do it for our fit and finish. And if you're thinking I missed things, hold on. We're changing how we do things. Okay. Instrument weight time. How much does this bad boy weigh? So we have to remove the covering because it affects my scale. So in pound ounces, well, I know that's not right. What's going on here? Oh, it's ounces. Okay. I know it wasn't 116 pounds. Here's pound ounces. And believe it or not, it's coming in very light at 7 pounds, 4.4 ounces. That's unbelievably light. We're going to switch units. And in grams, that's 3,300 grams for those people across the pond. I guess it is light. That's an incredible weight. So if you're looking for a tremolo bass guitar that is quite light and has an awesome finish, this one seems to be knocking it out of the park in those two categories. So, we want to, next thing, electronics. So we're going to go over the controls. Let's go over controls next. Pots and switches. I want to feel the pots. The volume pot has a little more drag to it than the tone. And we kind of figured that the tone is a push-pull. So it's not the same potentiometer, but they are both butter smooth. This one is has a little less friction to it. They both, I actually prefer this. Some people like a potentiometer that there's like zero friction. It's friction. I actually like a little drag to my pot, as long as it's smooth. This is perfect. That's just the right amount of drag. The push-pull feels very smooth. I don't know what kind of pots are in there. We're going to take a look later. But that is a very smooth feeling pot. It has a nice feel, a nice click. Feeling our switch. There's a little deflection in the switch, moving it back and forth this way. but it feels like it has a solid engagement. We'll have to, when we open it up, we'll see if there's a box switch or something in there. Next, since we're on electronics, that's pickup readings. So let's see what these pickups are doing. If you paid attention at the beginning of the when we first started, we played the guitar first, and my first. Do they sound horrible? No. It's a $299 guitar, but I will say they sounded muddy. Why? I don't know. Just listening to it, they weren't super clear. Are they bad for $299? That's up to you. I think they're a little on the muddy side. All right, push pull down, bridge position. We are reading in 20 k ohms, 13.56. Our Henrys and inductance, for those people across the pond, 5.95. Let's do our push pull. Let's go back to 20 k ohm. We've got 6.82. Henrys and inductance drops to 2.58. In our center position, 20 k ohm, we have 7.11. It's kind of bouncing around a little bit. Push pull, 4.68 with the tone pot pulled. Henrys and inductance drops down to 3.54. With the push pull, we've got 2.02. 20 k ohm neck position. That's quite hot for a neck. 14.52. With the push pull, it doesn't seem to be making a change with the push pull, so that might only be in the bridge position. That's what I'm assuming. 20H, Henrys and inductance. We have 7.21. No. So the push pull was only working on the bridge. So that's why it made a difference in the center position, because it's both pickups. So those are our pickup readings. Okay. It's time to look inside. Oh, actually, I already did that one, didn't I? Hit the wrong button, guys. I'm sorry. You guys can fire me. You're paying me too much money. So let's open the electronics up. Let's see what everything looks like in here. The problem with the live review, you guys have to persevere through me taking screws out, putting screws in. That made a... All right, I need my... For those that don't know, this is my kooky wrench. This is a 1.3 millimeter. It is definitely metal. That's quite heavy. I'm going to say the electronics cavity is done rather neatly. So I'm going to give you guys a bird's eye view of it. It's rather neat. We do have a box switch right here. Now, looking at what we have, I don't know, the soldering on the box switch is, well, this channel's about truth. I'm going to say below average. We have one nice shiny joint, and the other the other four are on the dull side, like they were struggling to get the bond. It's just not a shiny joint. The wire coming off the ground to the white, they did tin that all the way up, so that's nice, and it's very shiny. On the push-pull, those joints look good. Bonds at the bottom are shiny. The ground on the top of the pot for the volume is shiny. And I'm not sure what that is. They are micro pots, but I'm not familiar with this branding. They look like nice pots. They feel nice, but I'm not familiar with the branding. All in all, I'd say it's not too bad in there. Looking at our routing, the routing looks nice. I don't see anything bad in here at all. There's no tear out. The drill through on the cavity holes is done well. It's actually pretty decent. Now, before anyone says, "Wow, you got a metal cover," that's like built-in shielding. Not in this case. I'm not sure if this is or is not shielding paint, but even if it is shielding paint, you're depending on that bond just by touching. It's always better to run a piece of copper tape right from where one of the screw holes goes down over, and then run a wire or bond it to the ground of one of the pots. So odds are this is probably not doing anything the way it's done. But it's a good fit. Nice routing. I have seen worse in guitars. The only thing that I see in there is the solder joints. I don't believe we're at full temperature. Also looked at the jack because the jack was right there. The bonds on the jack were in between, not really shiny, but not dull. So that one was acceptable. Okay. While we're here, we're going to jump over to Tremolo. So the tremolo and vibrato system on this guitar, we kind of already looked at it a little bit. It did go out of tune a little bit. So let me find my 3mm. So I want to break the nuts. Feeling the locking nut. I'm going to check them all. Now when I'm turning that, I'm seeing a lot of play. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Let me switch cameras. Look at all the play in that nut. Look at the screw moving. The nut doesn't seem to be too good. This one, no. It's got quite a bit in it too. So while we're here, we're going to bring the guitar up to tune. Right here is our tuner. And when we were playing with it earlier, it really went out of whack. Whatever the low E really dropped in tune. Okay, you see that our E and our A is pretty close. So we're going to lock it, because you notice there's no string tree here. No string tree. So we're going to lock it and see how far out of whack we are. Gonna unlock it. Lock it again. That's actually not bad, guys. So without a string tree, you're very dependent on the angle that they've cut the headstock, because when this string comes off, it has to go into the nut. Now, something else you could see, they've got a couple wraps on this. Wrapping a couple extra wraps brings that string angle down. So if you were going to put locking tuners on this guitar and you locked it, most likely you're going to have to add a string tree, because you're not going to get the extra wraps with the locking tuner, if that makes sense. But all in all, we're going to check our D and our G. Let's lock that. It's pretty good. The B went high just a little bit. But all in all, without a string tree, that's pretty good. Yeah, you know, I should have. I made it, but we've already done it. That was our locking nut. So let's go over the bridge. So this is a standard Floyd Rose type bridge. You can look at the setup here. Probably be better for you to see it from this side. You can see the back of the bridge is a little higher than the front. So from the factory, there needs to be a little bit more string pressure put on the back of the bridge. This should be parallel with the body, and right now it's kicked up a little bit, but it's not horrible. Next one. Let's flip it over and look inside this tremolo cavity. Let's see what things look like in here. I'm going to yell into the significant other. Do we have anything in there with sugar in it, hon? Like a drink. If you didn't know, guys, I'm a diabetic, so I can feel my sugar crashing.
You want this?
Ooh, yeah, Sunny D. I don't know if this is real orange juice or not.
I don't think so.
80% vitamin C. We'll see. Wonder what the sugar count is on this stuff. What's it say? Woo! Boy, I can taste the sugar in that. Wow. That would be why kids like it. Wow. That should bring it up. Yep, it's metal. So it does have all metal plates. Looking in here, get a better view for you guys. You can see it's a pretty small block. And they've chose to, I see a lot of companies do that. I always run mine parallel. And here's a really good look. Look at that solder joint on the ground. It was definitely not to temperature. It has no sheen. It's completely dull. Looking at our claw, you know, it's not a Floyd Rose. The block is pretty cheesy. It's like what you would see on a special or the cheaper. Let's check our screws. Oh, I have to use this one. And basically, what I want to see is if the screw wobbles. That one's good. No, they're both good. So sometimes what will end up happening when they put the screws in, when they go to put the cover plate on, the cover plate won't fit because the screw angle's wrong. So they'll actually tap the screw down and bend the screw. When you go to put your screwdriver on and you go to move it, the head of the screw will go like that. So they did not do that with this one. Looking at the route, there's a funny route going on right there. I'll show you guys that. know if you guys can see that in there or not. There's a funny shoulder right where my finger is. Don't know why that would be there. It's just missing the programming. It doesn't look bad. Plenty of clearance. A little bit of chatter right here. But it's not bad. This guitar, you got to look at everything on guitars, guys. You know, we try to do that here. We try to look at everything when you purchase the instrument. You know, it's kind of my job to kind of look at everything I can possibly see on the guitar to give you guys good information. Now, if you look at this plate, it has 2 grooves cut in it right there. And those 2 grooves are so you can access the screws on the claw without removing this plate. That's what those 2 holes are for. So, looking at the holes in relation to the screws, I'm going to call that a miss, because the one screw is back like that. Can you get to it? Yes, you can. But if you look, I'm going in on an angle. So this hole needs to move that way 1/4 inch. This one needs to move that way 1/4 inch. But you can't get the screw. What'll end up happening, let's say if that screw was way out, you wouldn't have access to it. So first change, Leo James, you need to move these outward to where they align to the screws on the claw. That's the whole point of it. Can you use them the way it is? Yes, but it's not right. And I'm going to show you guys that. So that's what I'm having to do with the screwdriver to get access to it. I can't get square on the screw. Neither one of them. Okay, there's our cavity. So I think our next thing we need to look at is neck specs. Everyone kind of wants to know about the neck on the guitar. So let's see how thick it is and all that. Let's put our bar in. I'm going to use this little setup tool so we can get some pressure off of it and hopefully be able to get our calibers. No, doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it's going to give us enough room to, so we are going to have to loosen it. There went our tuning. You know what? Probably don't have to move those. So to start with, let's see, what else do we have in neck specs? I'm looking at our new settings here, guys. So we're just going to go through our widths and stuff first. So I got my calibers. We're going to start out at the top. This is an R2 nut. we have 41.75, and R2 is a little wider than that. A true Floyd Rose is not 42. So they have 41.91. I service guitars, and I did another guitar that had a 42. I believe Music Lily makes one, and I believe Godo makes a 42, but you really need to double check your specifications because a Floyd Rose is not 42. It's like 42 point something, and that's going to stick out past your neck. So this one is flush. So if you want to put a better nut on it, and I say that because when I turn this, I can feel the thread pitch in the screw in here. There's just a lot of play. How long is that going to last? I don't know. I don't remember which budget guitar I think it was a Firefly. And I was tightening the nut with string pressure on it, and it stripped the nut because it was pulling down. This one, as you tighten it, it's not changing the tune of the string, so it is laying flat in the nut. So this one might last, even though it's a cheaper nut. Let's get our measurement on the 12th. .85 for width. Our very last fret. 57 even. So let's get some widths. If you guys were paying attention, under manufacturing specifications, we went to Amazon and we looked at some specs. Wow, I have to take more pressure off. If someone wants to go back and look at what Leo James is claiming, we have 20.42 on the first. So on the 12th. We have 23.27, which I don't think is what they were claiming. Just keep that in mind. Looks like our neck starts to flare out on the 16th fret. That's where we start. 17th is here. Probably 16 and a half, right in between. That's where it starts flaring out. Now, I was the first person on the internet to pick on Leo James because their first production run on this had 2/12 on the Roman numerals. So you can see, second production run, they have fixed it. So no more double 12. It actually says 17. So kudos for Leo James for fixing the Roman numerals. I just couldn't deal with that. I mean, the whole point in the Roman numerals is it's cool. So on this production run, they actually have the proper Roman numerals on the neck. So if you bought the last production run and it kind of gets to you, the new ones, they fixed it. I think it looks sharp. Looking at the inlays themselves, you know, I am going to give Leo James 100% prop on this. The inlay work is done very well. I am seeing very little filler. I am really happy to see this. It's nicely done. The inlay material reminds me of the same thing Ibanez is using on their cheaper guitars. It doesn't have a lot of color to it. So you're not going to get the blues and greens that you would get on higher end guitars. But this inlay reminds me a lot of what you see on the Gem or the RGA. I don't know what that material is. I mean, it's nice, but don't expect the blues and the greens and stuff that you see on a higher priced inlay. But the inlay quality on how it's machined and inlaid, it's nice. Feeling the inlay. It's done as well as any other guitar at any other price point as far as the inlay work. Okay, our next issue. We want to, because everyone wants to know, sharp fret ends. And I hate to say it, that's where this guitar really falls off the map. The reason I like this guitar, it has conventional frets. But there is zero fret dressing. They did nothing. All they did was chamfer the fret. I'll be honest with you, I don't even think they hit the side of the fret with sandpaper. This guitar neck doubles as a steak knife. It's that sharp. I've only had one other guitar on the channel that was this bad. And I know what you guys are going to say. Well, it had to be another Leo James. No, it was an Ibanez. Go back and watch our AX120 review. It may have been a little worse than this guitar. But both of those, the Ibanez AX120 and this one, absolutely no fret dressing. They're sharp. The good news is the chamfering is done very well. And if you're skilled with the fret dressing file, you can go through here and you can fix this pretty easily. I would rather have this than have butchered frets on the dressing. But they have done nothing to it. All they did was chamfer it. I'm trying to see the positive. The positive is it's not hard to fix. But if you're not skilled at dressing frets, you can mess it up. We're just here to be honest. Okay. No, we just went over the dressing, the finish on the frets. The finish on the top is nice. And that leads me to wonder if they crowned the frets. Did they level the frets and crown the frets and polish the frets? I'm a firm believer that a lot of these companies don't level the frets. They run their necks on the CNC, they press the fret in, and they are dependent on that neck radius and the neck being true when it's pressed in, that it's going to be close. So let's go to what everyone was wanting. let's check some frets, see how level they are out of the factory. And again, I don't know if they leveled their frets or not. If they did a good job of recrowning and polishing. So let's go through with the fret rocker and see what this guitar tells us. Well, you know what, guys? I made a special thing so you guys don't get super bored. Just for this. Where's it at? You know, I made a special thing just for you guys. Oh, there it is. There you go. You should hear a little music in the background now. So, 3rd fret, right above the B string. Got a little tiny rock. And again, right at the D and the G, still rocking. Under the A, still rocking. It's not a horrible rock, but it is present. That's 3rd fret. And 5th fret, above the B. Still present between the D and the G. And goes away under the A. I can't hear the music, guys, because it's post. So I don't know how loud it is. If someone wants to make a comment and say, hey, you need to turn that up a little bit, we can barely hear it.
I don't hear any music.
Well, yeah, we won't hear it, honey, because it's on the post process of the wing.
I mean, if I turn up the sound on my phone.
You don't hear anything at all?
Nope.
Okay, well, let's turn it up a little bit for everyone. There we go. Thirteenth fret above the low E. Below the low E. And it disappears at the A string. double check. Fourth spot, 18th fret above the B, just barely right there. We get a little bit between the D and the G. A little worse below the A. Above the A.
Apparently, they still can't hear the music. If I turn the volume up, I can hear it, but
Yeah, well, it's done now.
oh,
It's just the one song, guys. I will continue to make adjustments. Let me lay my front rocker right there. So I can turn it up even more, but I know you guys can hear it at that point. Yep, so basically right above the B all the way up to the E on the 18th fret. That was the worst fret so far. All right, between the D and the G again. So this is spot 5. Continuing all the way to the high E. That was another bad spot, just like the previous one. So what's that, 5 spots? And again on the 23rd fret, high E. So from above the B to the high E. Then just ever so slightly below the E on the 23rd. I'm going to say this is one of the best guitars that I've received from Leo Jaymz. It had 3 small spots up here. They wasn't really bad, but the spots down here, it is rocking. We're just going to call it 6 frets that need some attention. Is it bad? I'll let you all be the judge on that. I kind of lose track on what guitars get what. I'm going to say it's a step in the right direction for this company. This is a far better instrument than I've seen them produce in the past, especially fret-wise. No low frets. That's a good thing. So that means you can go in here with a fret kisser and you can fret kiss these, or make sure they're seated properly. The big thing that I see, got a couple high frets, and we have 0 fret dressing on any of the frets. All in all, like I said, I truly feel this is a step in the right direction for this company. The last Leo Jaymz that we reviewed, I don't remember, but I remember the guitar did better than average. So the company seems to be listening, if that makes sense. But I think they still need to do a couple other things. If Leo's watching this, I get it. Yeah, everyone talked about all ball and frets. You did ball and frets because it was easier and faster and cheaper. Let's face it. And you found a market, and you've made people believe that it was an upgrade, but it's faster and it's cheaper. This is a much more difficult instrument to manufacture. There's more hand time on it. I think you're going to have to hold $300 on this instrument, okay? But you need to give us a little bit of a fret level, a little bit better fret level, and some end dressing. Is the fret level bad? I'm going to say you're right at average or a little worse, okay? 5 spots, I see a lot on guitars. You know, it might not be 5 bad spots. Here you have 3 bad spots. Not horrible because you don't have to level all the frets. You don't have any low frets. That makes a big difference. That puts this guitar in a different category because I don't have to re-level the whole neck. I can just go in and touch up frets and make this guitar right. But you also have to do a fret dressing on the end. And again, I get it. These are chamfered frets. It's more hand time. Hand time increases the price of the guitar. This is also one of your most expensive guitars. Give us just a little bit of a fret dressing and keep working on your fret leveling. Yeah, from what I've seen, you're moving in the right direction. What else do we have, honey? Let me go back to the main feed. Oh, very important spot here, guys. Oh, I got 2 things going on at the same time. Sorry. Let's try that again. So we got string action height, and that is going to bring us to this one, factory setup check. Okay, so we want to look at the factory action height on this guitar. And if you're just tuning in, this is not your standard YouTube channel, guys. We're not here to blow smoke up your butt. We're here to look at this guitar and give you an honest evaluation of what your money's getting you. So right here we have Imperial. So factory setup on the 12th. She's high, guys. On the 12th, we have 0.095. Then on the high E, we got 0.085. She's high. She's orbiting Jupiter. For you metric guys, on the low E, I'm going to say it's 2.45 millimeters. High E, we're going to put it 0.23 millimeters. She's high. Now, before anyone says anything, all companies do it. Why do they ship guitars? Now, this one's higher than normal. Why do they do that? Well, it prevents string buzz. It's really simple. Our next, actually, we need to redo that, guys. Sorry. Had the tremolo block in it. Why do companies set their action height usually at like 0.07? Okay, it reduces callbacks. That's the main reason for it. So we're going to start off in Imperial again. Sorry about that. Didn't change it too much. So we have 0.085 on the low E. Actually, I'm going to change that to 0.090. It's probably like 0.09. 2. On the high E, we're going to call that 0.090 on the high E. I want to make sure that I give you guys accurate measurements. So now on the low E, we're going to call it 2.20 on the low E. And we're going to call this at 2.15 on the high E. You guys can cross-reference the two measurements and see how much parallax is in my eyes. But that's pretty close. That's pretty close. What do we have next? We got neck relief. Factory neck relief. This should be 25.5 inch scale length. Let's see how much neck relief is in the guitar from the factory. It's not bad. This probably has 0.3 millimeters of relief. We can also check it this way. Doing it this way, I'm going to say it's like 0.4, 0.5. I don't like doing it this way because when you fret the note, it arches the string, and it does cause, you're going to show more relief doing it this way than using a straight edge. And that's what I'm seeing here. So I'm going to say it's probably like 0.35 millimeters of relief on the low E, which, to be honest with you, that's about where I would set the guitar as far as neck relief. What needs to take place on the setup on this guitar is the back of the bridge needs to come down even, and I believe we need to check the saddles, okay, to make sure they match the radius of the neck. And that's our next goal. We have some radius gauges here, and we want to look at the radius of the neck. This is the first time we've done a review like this in this fashion, guys. I'm kind of jumping around. I'm trying to find which way is going to work best for me doing a live review. And you can tell it's high because I'm not having any trouble getting the Stumac gauges back and forth. It looks like there's a little bit of a gap in the center. So let me find my 15. There's a 15. I'm not sure on that one, guys. It doesn't. Let's look at a 16. No. Looks like it's about 14.5 millim on the radius, because this gauge is doing the exact opposite of this gauge. And that can be a sanding error in the neck. But it looks like it's coming in at like 14.5. See, it's doing it there too. Let's double check this one. Yeah, I'm going to say it's 14 or 14.5. One of the two. I think it's just a little bit of a sanding error in it. all in all, like I said, I think with the inlays the way they're done, the guitars actually, the fit and finish on the guitar is actually really good, especially at $299 with a bridge. The only thing I can say is the frets are stupid sharp. When I say this thing can double as a steak knife, um, yeah, that's an understatement. And it's such a shame. Um, this is an imported guitar. So on labor end over there, for someone, even if you didn't want to fret dress it, just to go over this with like 2 or 3 passes of 1200 just to break the edge of the frets, I couldn't imagine it would have cost them more than $5 just to give us something to break the edge, but they didn't. Literally, I can see the tooling mark on the side of the fret where they took the chamfering tool and ran down the neck. I can see the streaks. And I can feel the side of the fret all the way around sharp. It's not just where the tang comes through on the edge of the fret. That's really sharp right here. Down here, that's really sharp. But all the way around the perimeter is sharp. And that tells me they literally took the tool, ran it back and forth until it got even with the neck, and that's all they did. There's no way the side of this fret was touched with sandpaper or anything, a dressing file or anything. It's sharp. Okay, guys, I think the only thing we have left is to check the intonation on this guitar. So let's look at the intonation, because that is part of the factory setup. And I apologize if I hopped around a little bit. I tried to make categories and then follow the category, and I did jump one little spot, but I think we did cover everything. So I got the locking nut loose. I'm going to bring it up to tune. So I'm going to switch cameras so you can see the tuner. So there's our low E. You can see it's falling off just a little bit. Now they did claim 18-to-1 tuners. I can tell that. I'm gonna say for what I've seen in the past with Leo James, their tuners have always sucked. These tuners, they're not great, but they're not near as bad as I've seen on most Leo James. Again, I think it's a little better. But I will say this. I've reviewed 3 of the exact same guitars from them that had the exact same tuners. One guitar, the tuners felt okay. The other one, they wobbled. And the other one, I thought they were going to fail before I got the guitar to tune. So the big thing they've had problems with in the past is tuners and fret leveling. At $300, I'm not going to say too much because it's got a bridge and the tuners feel okay. So I just want you to know I don't feel any slop in them, but they're not butter smooth, if that makes sense. But again, I don't see the post wiggling either. So maybe they have changed the tuner. But the 18-to-1 is definitely nicer than they've been doing. So let's go back to our tuner. Here's our E. E on the 12th. You can see it's flat. E. Twelfth. Definitely flat. First fretted note. And we're sharp. This guitar does some weird things as far as the tuning. I don't know if it's these strings, but it acts like something is slipping. There's our A. Again, a little flat, open. Yeah, a little flat. First fretted note. A sharp is definitely sharp. There's our D. D on the 12th. Just a fraction flat. First fretted note, just a fraction sharp. There's our G. Our G is sharp. Yeah. That's why I always double check. Let's get it right here. Turn G string. Yeah, it's sharp. First fretted note, and it's sharp as well. There's our B. You can see it's falling off. Fraction sharp, first fretted note. Definitely sharp. There's our E. The high E is very close. A little on the flat side. First fretted note is very close. Now I'm going to go through and get it close, and you guys will see a slight difference in the intonation. And that's because as I continue to tune it, the bridge is coming off the guitar, and that will affect our intonation. All right, let's go through one more time. E, E on the 12th. Fraction flat. There's A on the 12th. Fraction flat. D, D on the 12th. Fraction flat. There's our G. G is a fraction sharp. There's our B. B is very, very, very close. There's our E. You can see now our E is falling off just a little bit. All in all, it's not horrible, guys. It really isn't. That is just a slight adjustment in the screws back here to get that right. So if I detune this just a little bit, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to adjust the spring. We've already demoed it just a little bit at the beginning. So I'm going to run the screws in just a little bit. Now we're going to retune the instrument. It's worse than watching paint dry. So here's our retune here. It's going to be closer. So there's our E. There's our A. And you're going to be chasing it because you have made a bridge adjustment. Now we want to look at our bridge. And just that little bit of a change has made a difference. Now our bridge is sitting parallel to the body. We're at 440 tune on E. So let's double check because everything you do affects everything. So now let's look at our action height on the 12th. It's going to be a fraction lower, but it's not going to be a tremendous amount lower. But it will be just a little lower. Now we're at 0.80, or we're going to say 0.805 low E. Probably at 0.083 on the high E. So it did lower it just a little bit. If you wanted to get it even closer, you could block the tremolo, take the pressure off this bridge, and adjust these screws. Do not take your tool. Do not take your tool and shove in here like this and turn it. You have string pressure on this knife edge, and as that screw turns, that knife edge is doing this, and it's just going to grind that knife edge off. It's going to flatten it. Take the pressure off the bridge before you make a tremolo adjustment on your height. Your tremolo will thank you if you do that. Make sure you take the pressure off the knife edge before you make a height adjustment on a floating bridge. It will destroy your tremolo if you do. Okay. Now that we have it in tune, I guess I should lock it, shouldn't I? Let's lock it before we go too much further. And while we're here, I'm going to double check all these. Okay. One last check. I'm highly impressed with how little locking the nut changes on the tuning. They have the angle of the neck definitely definitely spot on. As good as you could get a guitar like this. Okay. Now it's in tune. It has a sound. I like it, but I think it's a little on the muddy side, guys. You can hear it. Let's do a little open combination type stuff. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. I think the pickup's just a little on the muddy side. This is our second position, center position. You can hear it more on those alternative type chords. It's a little muddy. I hate to say it, but it sounds muddy. Here's our dirt. I am not showing any output on this for whatever reason. Do you hear the guitar in there, hon?
Yeah.
So here's our neck position. It's just, I can't explain. It's got a, if I split the coil and the bridge, now see, now it loses the muddy. That's better. Here's it humbucker mode. I think this would be a good guitar, a good candidate to go in and change the cap. There's I'm going to say changing the cap on this guitar would make a big difference. We roll off the volume a little bit. A little bit more. It sounds like it's got a good drive. I don't know. You guys tell me what you're hearing. To me, it sounds like there's a blanket or something over it. Listen to it in clean. Let's give it a shot in clean just to see what it does. You can hear the volume difference. That's split. Humbucker. So in split mode, to me, in split, it sounds better. In full humbucker mode, let's try our center position. Roll back our volume a little bit. I don't know. Here's our neck position. They seem to fall apart more in high gain. Let's go back to our high gain channel. I'm not a fan of the pickups. You guys tell me what you think. No matter what I do, they just sound. Let's split the coil. The pickup sounds better in split coil mode. But they also lack butt. All right, guys. I think we've done a pretty good job of reviewing this guitar. I'm sorry I am not a awesome guitar player, but I think we kind of went through the different sounds. I guess it's time to give this thing a squirrel rating. I'm not gonna bash it. At $300, it doesn't play bad. It has a nice feel when you play it. The drawback when you're playing it, the frets are so sharp. You can see my hands just from the sharp frets. When I say they're sharp, that's an understatement. Like I said, this could double as a steak knife. That being said, I think if you dress the frets on the guitar would have a nice feel. It's not a super thin neck, but it has a nice feel to it as you're playing it. I don't think I would make the neck any thinner. You know, there's a lot of shred players out there that don't necessarily need a stupid thin neck. This one's a good balance. It's thin enough to make you know what it's doing, but not so thin to where it's going to give you fatigue after playing it. The next issue I have with the guitar, and I might change my opinion when I go back and listen to it, hearing the guitar in my headphones in high gain, the pickups just sound a little muffled and muddy. That's the only thing I can say negative about the guitars. The pickups sound a little muddy in high gain, and the sharp frets. Other than that, the finish on the guitar is just fantastic. How can you falter it if that makes sense at $299? The flip-flop color. I said it earlier, that in itself is the asking price of admission right there. If you're handy, okay, and you're good with a fret dressing file, I would definitely say this guitar is worth looking at. You can dress up these frets, the fret ends, okay, and put some pickups on it, and this would be a decent guitar. How does it fall out of the box? I think it's a step in the right direction for Leo Jaymz. Are they getting the target market? If they're trying to get Ibanez at the RGA, I'm sorry, it's a miss. The RGA comes in at $150 more, and you're going to put that $150 in this guitar to get it to be equivalent to the RGA. That's just how it is. Yes, the guitar is cheaper, so I don't expect it to compete with an RGA. but that's what it's targeted at. If Leo James is after that market, they're going to have to put better pickups in this guitar and fix their dressing on the neck. Other guitars that it's competing with, I think this is really targeted towards the RGA and the GO with the Floyd Rose Tremolo. I'm gonna say the GO is at $399. Okay, I'm gonna say the GO is just a little better. Okay, but it's $100 more. But the GO you don't have to do anything to. The fret dressing is going to be a little better and the pickup's a little better on it. So it depends on what you're wanting to do. If you're looking for a mod platform, this is probably the ticket. If you're looking for a guitar that you can just pull out of the box and, not have to do anything to, I think Leo James is still missing the mark. And it's a shame. They have good pickups. They have better pickups. The pickups they put in the Monsoon, I like. Put those pickups in this guitar. There you go. It's already a pickup that you have at your factory. Stick the Monsoon pickups in it and do a little bit better job on the end dressing, and you've got it. Okay? Are the frets perfectly level? No, they're not. But this guitar scored above average for Leo James. It scored just a little under what we see on average here on the channel. And the only reason I'm going to say it's a little under average is the 3 spots up here rock pretty bad. If it wasn't for that, and it had 5 or 6 spots like we found up here, I would say it's an average fret level or fret set, depending on how you want to look at it. It is, like I said, it's a step in the right direction for them. But it's also $300. This channel's here about honesty, and I think at $300, again, the paint job is done so well. That in itself, let's say you wanted to get crazy with this guitar, and you put a nice Godot bridge in it, that's $130. Put a set of Ibanez Quantum pickups in it, or guitar head pickups. They're $60. That's $200. That puts you at $500. You're doing the work yourself, but at $500 with this paint job, you're not going to find anything at that price point. If you hired someone to do it, that's where you run into a problem. You're probably looking at $250 to $300 in labor to do all your fret dressing and clean up the fret ends, install the pickup, and do the tremolo. That might be on the cheap side. It might be a little bit more than that. Then that's going to throw the guitar in the $800 price range by the time you pay a luthier to do it. Again, it's kind of up to you guys. I'm just pointing out what I see with the instrument. Again, I think it's a step in the right direction for them. It depends on which way Leo James wants to go. But it is a better guitar than they've been making. So hopefully this information is there for someone that's been thinking about buying this guitar. If you're thinking about buying this guitar and it's going to be you want your first shredder guitar and you're not very skilled at fret dressing, doing pickup work, stuff like that, I'm going to say stay away. But if you're pretty handy with a fret file, an end dressing file, and you know how to do basic work, installing pickups is pretty basic, I think this might be a guitar for you. Do you need to change the tremolo right now? No. These cheaper tremolos will usually hold up for a year and a half. They're softer metal. You are going to have issues with the tremolo down the road, I guarantee it. Buy the guitar, put some guitar head pickups in it for $60, dress your frets, and I think you got a rocker. If you don't want to do that and you want to do the super cheap route, play around with the tone cap on this guitar. I think they've picked the wrong cap for these pickups. That's a complete guess, okay? Because I haven't played around with it. But I think if you start playing around with the tone cap on it, you can make the guitar sound better without spending a lot of money. A cap is $10. For $10, you could probably buy 2 or 3 different caps and experiment with it and see where it comes. All right, guys, if you haven't already, please go down and hit the thumbs up button. Please consider subscribing. I do apologize that this review was a little on the rough side. It was my first time doing a guitar review with the new system. We will get it. I will get better. I think you know the direction that we're trying to go with the little screens. Give me a couple more reviews, and we'll work the bugs out of the system. Hopefully you guys liked it. I'm really trying to be the best review channel on YouTube.
There's a couple of comment/questions.
Okay, let's go ahead and hit questions.
What about DiMarzio, Tone Zone, and Air Norton humbuckers? Will those sound killer with this axe?
Yeah, those are great pickups, guys. But when you're buying an axe like this, you want to keep it relative. It's your money. If you put those pickups in the guitar, it's going to sound phenomenal, 100%. But this is a budget guitar. It's not a $1,500 Ibanez or $1,000 Ibanez. So you want to look at what you're getting. If I was buying this guitar, I would either put Hexbucker or Z-Bucker guitar head pickups in it, or Ibanez Quantums. Those pickups, you can pick up a set of Ibanez Quantums all day long on Reverb for $50. You can get a brand new set of Z-Buckers. They're more PLF style. If you want a hotter pickup, I'd put the Hexbucker in. If you want to know what they sound like, go back and look at our RGA guitar. You have to go back and see what the title. We put a new bridge, new tuners, and the Hexbucker pickups in that. They're phenomenal sounding, and they're $60. So you could put those in it. You're still putting. They're good pickups, believe me. Guitar head pickups are good pickups. Put those in it. I think you'd be really surprised. Are the DiMarzios better pickups? Absolutely, that's a better pickup. They're also probably $230 for that set versus $60. So keep in mind what it is, if that makes sense. If you're trying to make a kick butt axe, put a go-to bridge in it, put those DiMarzios in it, put some locking tuners on it. Yeah, it would be awesome. But you also have to look at how much money you just dropped in a $300 guitar. That's all I'm saying. It's your money. Could you find anything with that investment close to it? Probably not. Not in this flip-flop color. So it really depends on how much money you want to put in it. Got another one, hon?
Devastator had said it sounds like your sire.
Sounds like my sire. My sire is cleaner sounding. The sire, when I'm playing it, I get a better individual note pattern out of it, if that makes sense. That's what I'm hearing on this end. Maybe YouTube is compressing it and it does sound like the sire, but live in the room, you can definitely hear the note separation difference. It's a little muddy, if that makes sense. Got anything else?
What about Music Lily humbuckers from Amazon?
I've heard good things about them. I've never, purchased Music Lily. If you're looking at $30 or $40 or even $50, don't waste your money. Just buy the guitar heads. I can vouch for guitar heads. They're quality pickups, quality bobbins, quality magnets, quality wire. It's a quality pickup. And their guitar heads, you can buy them on Reverb and eBay. Good company. They're not a fly-by-night company. I put those pickups in my son's guitar 18 years ago, and they're still making pickups. So it's a small brand, but it's a good quality pickup.
The Leo is better than your Nitro.
Wow. My Nitro is a different different kind of guitar, if that makes sense. Eh, could this guitar be good? Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now. Yeah, if I did a fret dressing on this and touched up a couple frets, and I wouldn't, me personally, I would just put the quantums on it. I got a set of quantums down in the basement that I pulled out of the RGA that I put the guitar heads in. Um, the quantums and the guitar heads are very similar. I just think the guitar heads have a little bit different mid push, if that makes sense, over the quantums. But the quantum would be an awesome pickup. And I already have a free set downstairs that I pulled out of another instrument. I could put those in here and play around with the cap a little bit. And I know it would sound better.
What did the pups read?
You'd have to go back and look. That they wouldn't. I want to say they were between 15 and 13 ohms, and the Henrys were, I think, at between 7.5 and 8. So, depending on how you want to look at it, you know, Henry should be at least at minimum half. You'd have to go back and look. I don't want to throw them under the bus, but pickup readings are pickup readings. They're unlike a lot of Leo James where they try to cram 16K out of them. They were moderate on these, and I didn't see any extremely high Henry rating versus the ohms. So meter wise, they should sound pretty good. I'm just hearing, and guys, I'm hearing it through my headphones. They just sound a little muddy to me. If you guys aren't getting that impression, that's great. That's one less thing that you have to buy on the guitar if you choose to get it. Anything else?
Are the frets straight?
Yeah, that's another reason why I like this guitar. This guitar doesn't have ball-end frets. This is a conventional fret guitar, so the frets are going to be straight in line with the neck. They're not going to wave down the neck because these were pressed in and then chamfered to the neck. As far as being level, there are 3 bad frets down here, and we have 3 frets up here that are so-so. As far as Leo James is concerned, this is one of the better guitars. They're moving in the right direction. The last Leo James I think we reviewed had 6 or 7 spots, and they were, I'm not going to say it's great. It's not great, but it's far better than what I've seen in the past. Would these frets down here cause an issue if you lowered the action down where it should be, 0.065, 0.07? I don't think so. I don't think they were that bad to cause that kind of an issue. If you're going to slam it like a shred and you want it like 0.05, that's not going to happen. You're going to have buzz down here due to the frets. But there are no low frets. So that means with a fret kisser, you could go in here and just touch up the frets that are bad, and you don't have to re-level all the frets. That in itself is a plus. A lot of times, what I've seen in the past with Leo James, there's always a low fret where they were too aggressive with the sanding or trying to fix something, and they got a low fret. The only way you can fix that is to level them all. On this guitar, you don't have to. You could just go in and touch up the individual frets and clean them up.
Mark had said, I like ceramic better than Alnico 5. What's your preference?
Believe it or not, I'll go against the grain too. I like ceramic pickups. I do. Nowadays, if someone on the internet says Alnico's better, then everyone's got to have Alnico. I think if you start mixing magnets, there's a companies doing like Alnico 2s and 5s and mixing them. There's so many things to a pickup. How much charge is in the magnet itself, the gauge of the wire, the quality of the copper, how many windings, whether it's Alnico 2, 3, 5, 8, whether it's ceramic. I've heard bad ceramics. I've heard great ceramics. I've heard bad Alnicos. I've heard great Alnicos. To sit and say, well, it's an Alnico 5 pickup, of course it's awesome. That is such horse BS. It really has nothing to do with, it's a magnet. You know, ceramics have magnets too. You know, to say the Alnico 5 is better, I think it's personal taste. You can get a good ceramic, you can get a bad ceramic. You can get a good Alnico 5, you can get a bad one. I think it's just like stainless steel frets. It's a selling point. They know that you guys, ooh, stainless steel. Well, we're going to put stainless steel frets on it. Ooh, Alnico 5. Well, let's do Alnico 5 pickups. They know exactly what you guys want to see as what they call like case candy, and that's what these companies do. And it's not just the budget companies doing it. The higher end companies now are doing it too. Ooh, it's got a Tuss XL nut. Ooh. It's how the guitar goes together and the care that they've put into building the guitar that makes it. You can put all high-end components on a build and still have a bad instrument. You can take a plastic nut. Now this guitar is a locking bridge. I've played guitars with plastic nuts. They sound fine. They held tune fine. Why? The nut was cut right. I've played guitar with Tuss XL nuts. Not that good. So before everyone says, oh, it has this and it has that, look at what you're actually getting and how well they execute it. That's the thing. I think they executed a lot of things really well on this guitar. It's surprising at $299. I don't want anyone to watch this review and think I'm downing Leo Jaymz. Everyone says, oh, I hate Leo Jaymz. I don't hate any guitar company. I don't. I just tell you what I find in the box. And in the past, we've had some pretty bad Leo Jaymz. They've been really bad on fret leveling. But I will say this. Every year that goes back, when I go back and revisit it, I usually get a better one. And this is no different. If they keep down this track, I think they're getting it. Look at this thing. It's a beautiful guitar. It's a sharp guitar. And I'll say it again. The paint is worth the price of admission. I haven't seen a flip-flop paint job on any guitar under $700. I just haven't. Okay? It's already drilled and set up for a Floyd Rose. If you don't like this bridge, and does it return to zero? No. It's a little off, just like the last Leo Jaymz. But it's the cheapest good locking tremolo out of the box that I've seen. This one and the last one, both. I think the last one was $240, Amazon. I forget what Leo Jaymz that was. Did it return to zero perfectly? No. But it's a $250 guitar. This one, $299. Does it return to zero perfectly? No. It's a $300 guitar with a full locking bridge, and it's already drilled. It works the best that I've seen any of them. It works better than the Firefly ones. The last two Firefly that have the fake or the new Floyd Rose in it, they're horrible. That's a horrible bridge. So just because it says Floyd Rose on it with that screen print, this bridge, I'm going to say, is about the same quality. There's no difference. There really isn't. You're going to end up putting a Godot on it anyway, or an FR1000. You're going to. It's soft metal. The knife edges aren't going to hold, whether it's this one or whether it's the Floyd Rose with the screen print or it's a Floyd Rose special. Those bridges just don't hold up. The Floyd Rose special is going to last just a little longer than the one with the screen print. This is going to last a little less than a Floyd Rose special. So when you go to upgrade, don't do a Floyd Rose special. If you're trying to get the best bang for the buck, put the Godo 1996T in. It's a solid bridge. You'll get years of use out of it. You can buy that bridge for about 130 bucks. Get you a nice locking nut. The locking nut does make a difference. They're about $30 to $40 for a good one. This is a 42 millimeter nut. A Floyd Rose nut will not fit this guitar. You are going to have to do some hunting and look at the string spacing and look at this width and the deck height. They are out there. I've done 42s. I know Music Lily makes one, and I'm pretty sure Godo makes one.
Would a Floyd Rose Korean made be an effective upgrade?
Yeah, the FR1000 would be a nice upgrade, but you can't get a Floyd Rose nut. Floyd Rose doesn't make, this neck comes in at 41.75, okay, right here. So that's going to put you just under 42. The Floyd Rose R2 is like 42.13 something, okay? And that's going to stick out past the neck a little bit. So that's going to force you to either get the Music Lily or the Godo. Just do your research. They are out there. And don't say, well, they're all R2s. It's 42. It's not. Everyone's R2 is going to be a little different. So look at your specs. You definitely want a 42, okay? Or find one that's at 41.8, somewhere in that, because this is miking out at 41.75. Pretty sure. You have to go back and look. But this is definitely a spot with improvement. The thread pitch and stuff in here isn't that good. I show it in the review. Again, they have to save some money somewhere. So the machining and the tolerances of this nut are so-so. Any more, honey?
Any acoustics with stainless steel frets?
Any acoustics?
Yes, because Todd said he has a friend with a nickel allergy.
I would look at Firefly. That's going to be your best bet. If they have some of their guitars, I think theirs have stainless steel. I think Enya does a carbon fiber with stainless steel frets. You're going to have to do your research on that one. I don't think you're going to find a Yamaha or any brand like that unless you get into the $1,000 range of stainless. So I would look at Enya, Firefly, and maybe go over to Guitar Fetish. I don't know if Guitar Fetish has an acoustic. They may have something with stainless steel. That's all that I can pull from off the top. The stream will end and I'll think of another one, but right now that's all I can really think of that may have stainless. I know the Firefly does. We did a review on one, and again, I think they're great acoustics. You know, Firefly, there's nothing wrong with their acoustics. Good product. I don't think Leo James makes one with stainless. I could be wrong. You could check Amazon. Okay.
I think that's it.
Hopefully you guys enjoy content like this. We're trying to be a different kind of channel with honest reviews. And these are, you know, when I talk about, I want to qualify something. When I say I think the pickups sound muddy, that's my personal opinion. I played the guitar a little bit in clean, a little bit in crunch, and high gain. You guys make your determination. What you heard tonight was a line 6 stomp, okay? No post-processing, and the MXR EQ was not engaged, okay? So it's just the line 6 going right into my interface to your all's computer. So that's the sounds that you heard. Hopefully I did a pretty decent job, and everything else about the review, that's facts. That's not personal opinion, that's facts. My squirrel score, 10 squirrels would be the best. I'm going to give this guitar 6 squirrels. And the only reason I'm giving it 6, and this is personal preference, okay? I think the pickup's a little muddy, and I think the fret dressing on the side isn't quite where it needs to be.
Jupes,
We'll say 6.5 squirrels.
Jupes said you built a bridge on my Schecter and the nut. What is the nut dimension? I think you had to hunt for a proper one.
I think your Schecter was 42 too. The 42 is a kooky. This one's under 42. Okay, this one mic'd out at like 41.75 or something. So you can find them. They are out there. The 42-inch true. Now everyone's gonna say, well, R2 is 42. If you look at the spec, it's not. It's like 42.3 something. And they have the another one that's like 42.8. It's not quite 43, but it's a little under. They are out there. You just have to hunt. And it again, you might find it and it's on back order or they're out of stock right now. But they are out there. The 42 is out there for this guitar. Okay, guys, I want to thank everyone for coming in, especially if you watched the whole review. I know it's, wow, this is a long review. 2.5 hour review. But I think we covered everything. I don't want to be plug it in, jam on it, and tell you to buy it. You know, I think we covered everything. If you're seriously thinking about buying this guitar, please go back and watch the whole review. We look at the electronics cavity. We went over the pickup readings. We checked the frets. We checked everything that we could possibly check in 2.5 hours. I truly think we do the most detailed, unbiased review on Reverb. And I'll say it's unbiased because I love guitar. I want every one of these guitar manufacturers to make it. I do. It's a $300 guitar with a floating bridge. I want it to be the best possible guitar that money can buy. But we found some issues. At the very beginning of the review, I pounded on the tremolo and she slipped. And the low E went out of tune. You're not going to see that on any other YouTube channel. Why? They edit it. That's why. This is a live review. I beat on it. You see exactly what it did. I didn't hide anything. I have no skin in the game whether you buy Leo Jaymz or you don't buy the Leo Jaymz. I just want you to watch this review and know what to expect when you get yours.
Did you say on Reverb?
Did I send out Reverb?
Did you say on Reverb?
Yeah, guitar heads, you can get guitar heads on Reverb and eBay. Just type in guitar head pickups and it should come up. Usually when I do it, I buy on eBay, okay? Because it's cheaper on eBay. You're going to see on eBay, there's going to be about $8 cheaper per set. And he's just passing on the Reverb fees to you. Reverb is getting expensive. The fees on Reverb are ridiculous. So it's the same guy, okay? It'll say guitar head something or other. That's the only two places I found that you can get them, if that makes sense. Yep. Is that it, baby?
I believe so.
All right, guys, I want to thank everyone. Please tell other people about this channel. If you're serious about guitar reviews, I think we do the best. Any comments that you guys have about improving our reviews or something I'm missing, please post them. We do want to add things, but just the stuff that we did took 2.5 hours. So it's kind of hard to add anything else to the review. Like I said, if you're super serious about purchasing it, go back, watch the whole review. I'm sure what you're thinking or asking about is in this review somewhere. All right, guys, thank you so much. Please go down, thumbs up button. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And guess what? Tomorrow night is Tech Talk night. We have Brian coming over with his bass, if he doesn't forget it. And we're going to review an Ibanez bass tomorrow night during Tech Talk. And then don't also forget we live stream on Saturday nights too. That's our Gear Chat Hangout night. Please come back, leave some comments in this video. It's not just the chat, but leave me some comments in the video on what your feelings are on this guitar. And do you think this guitar is worth $299 with the review that we just did? It's real simple. Yeah, that's a banging deal for $299, or say, you know what, I think I'll pass. You know, I'm curious to see what you guys think $299 will do. And keep in mind, guys, guitar prices are going through the roof. Everyone has been doing price increase, price increase, price increase, price increase. You know, 3 years ago, Leo James was 150, 199. Same with Firefly. They were 130, 189, 199. Not anymore. Now they're the cheapest, 180 to 280 for Firefly. Look at all these companies. They've all went between the $200 and $300 price mark for a budget guitar. Why? Because Fender, Ibanez, Jackson, everyone has increased prices. They've went up, I'm going to say 25% in the last 2 years, maybe even 30%. So keep that in mind. We're at a very different stage in guitar. I think we're in the best time to play guitar. There's so many options, and it's a lot of quality guitars, but our price point is going up. So keep that in mind. Please leave me a comment. Let me know if you'd purchase it and what you think of it. All right, guys. Hope to see everyone tomorrow night for Tech Talk when Brian comes in. Again, I can't do this show without you guys. You guys are great. You, the viewer, really, that's kind of what makes the channel. It's you guys. So leave me some comments. We're going to do our 5-minute ending window. I don't really have a 5-minute standard window, so I'm just going to, I did so many changes. I'm going to make sure I hit the right button here. Starting window, ending window. We're 100% professional here, guys. I'm still learning the new system.